the reduction in legal aid has impacted many people seeking justice in their varying situations. How can people with limited means get the justice that their circumstances demand?
The reduction in legal aid is something that I absolutely fought against in Parliament. I have put amendments down to the Legal Aid Act that went through Parliament just recently, trying to ensure that we can make sure that the people who need legal aid get it.
I think it's very important in a society where there is, if not lots of litigation, a large fear of litigation, that people on the lowest incomes should feel that they have a level playing field when they need access to justice.
I'm really glad you've asked this question because, and also just worth pointing out, you're the first person in the 2 years I've been the candidate that has actually asked me the question about legal aid. And I think that the withdrawal of legal aid for vast proportions of our society has skewed our justice system to one that's becoming the preserve of people with means and with wealth. And it's excluding people who lack wealth and lack means from the benefits of our justice system. And the justice system is the bedrock of our society.
I mean, there's a number of things at play here. Why is it legal aid's being reduced? Answer, because a whole section of the rich aren't happy about paying taxes to fund it, because they want to pay less tax because they want to be richer. Take, for instance, the issue of HSBC and its Swiss bank accounts. Mm-hmm. Numbers of rich tax evaders. How many prosecutions?
One, I believe.
One? Mm. How many people? Why? Well, that's because they're rich, and it's very difficult to show, prove a prosecution and all that kind of stuff. If that was you or me evading our tax, do you think we'd be let off in a similar way?
The point about UKIP is we've never been racist, homophobic or fascist. We've always been a British libertarian party that cares about the community and also is in favour of free enterprise and us running our own country democratically. So we care about every individual, making sure that the law protects them from being treated badly by anybody.
Well, we don't want to become a country where justice is available for those who can buy it. And I fear that we could become that. I've worked on issues of access to justice. I've worked on issues of human rights in this country and abroad, and on issues of domestic violence and violence against women. So I'm aware of the issues that you raise. I'm also very, very, very concerned at how the cuts to legal aid has impacted upon access to justice for those who are least well off.
Why should legal proceedings be so expensive? Why can't people get justice, in a cheap way, in an inexpensive way? Why does it have to be so?
In 2012, out of every pound, the health service spent on compensation claims, and they ended up spending 2-3 billion quid during 2012. This was payments out of people who, got damages as a consequence of poor operations or poor care or whatever it might be. Of every pound that went in compensation, 53 pence of that went in legal fees.
Really? Mm.
So more went to the lawyers than went to the people that suffer.
Yeah.
So what I can't say, unfortunately, is that Labour are going to switch this around straight away. Labour has said that it will extend rights to legal aid to new groups of people, give more rights to legal aid for people who are victims of sexual abuse and domestic violence. Those are two key groups that need absolute unequivocal support of the state, and that will be done. I will certainly be an advocate, if I am elected, to make sure that we can restore some of the legal aid that has been excluded from certain people.
We are rolling back democracy and justice in this country. So I believe very strongly that act needs to be utterly reviewed and changed. We need to be able to ensure that everybody who needs legal aid gets it.
I would like to think of the difference between fairness and justice. To me, justice is treating everybody the same. Fairness is treating everybody according to their needs. So to take it on to a low level, if I have 2 children and I want to treat them according to justice, I might buy them Christmas presents that cost the same amount of money. If I want to treat them fairly according to their needs, maybe one of them will have a Christmas present that costs £40 and one will have a Christmas present that costs £5. It's a slightly fatuous example, but it makes the point of how we need to treat people according to their needs, rather than treat them all the same way. And I think we need to make sure that people get access to what they need, rather than trying to increase the fear of litigation and the legalistic nature of our society, which I think is a worrying development.
You won't get justice out of a situation that says 83 people on this planet have got to have half the world's resources. Mm-hmm. Where 10% of the population of London owns something like 70% of London. Where what happens is a person who cares for an elderly person, okay, a care worker, is on a minimum wage 0 hours contract. And someone who runs a casino bank is on £N million a year. Mm-hmm. And where does justice start? What's the notion of justice? By what yardsticks?
If you haven't got legal aid, then what that means is the law is only for the rich. And this is not acceptable to us. You have to have access to law. Now, whether you need to spend a lot of money on legal aid in order to get to a lawyer, we would like to see systems like people coming together to discuss problems and tribunals and so on, where we can do it more cheaply but still get the justice. But one way or another, we do have to pay for people to have access to the law, and if they need access to the High Court, etc., then legal aid should pay it.
People without money will not have access to legal expertise. So that will be reviewed. There will be a review of the two-tier system that legal aid solicitors are in, and there'll be consultation with the legal profession on those changes. We saw for the first time ever, I believe, last year, lawyers going on strike against the changes and the pay cuts that Chris Grayling has introduced. You cannot alienate a profession in that way and expect it to continue to be part of delivering a decent service.
So this is an area under which this government, I think, has done untold damage. It hasn't had nearly the publicity that it deserves, because basically what we're seeing now is nothing less than a rolling back of basic justice in this country.